What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here in the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a late night edition of MLB and NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Man, that was a fun football game until the rain delay, the thunder delay, that is, the weather delay. Then they come back and it was just awful football that we witnessed to finish out that football game. But yeah, it's nice to have it back. That's for sure. It was nice to cash the very first play. 1-0 on this video, the Lindy's theories. And then obviously tomorrow I'll record the big shebang for Sunday. I'll cover all the Sunday slate. But yeah, we've got MLB and NFL. We're going to talk Kansas City and the Chargers here at the end of this one. But it is 12:45 a.m. on the East Coast, 9:45 p.m. on the West Coast. It is very late. Stayed up, wanted to watch that entire game before I recorded. And that was a bad thing to say out loud. My wife's like, yo, you best get moving. And now, well, here we are. But you know what? I enjoyed sweating out the games there in the Premium Discord. Ended up being close to a wash day for me, all things considered. Had two singles props that did not hit for very small quarter unit plays. Had another cold home run day, 3 home runs, none of them go yard. Again, very light in that department. Usually got 4 or 5 going over the course of a day. But yeah, it was 6. I still found some value there, and nobody wanted to hit long balls. Colson Montgomery hit a very long baseball while I was watching football, like 454. But anyway, it's late. I know you got things to do. I got things to do. We got early baseball in Wrigley. That's back in our lives, like the 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific kind of thing going on. But that's neither here nor there. Let's keep this NFL 1-0 momentum going there. Got hit with a vicious hook on a pick'em card, but that's neither here nor there. That is in the Lindy Discord, friends. 50% off the weekly $10, monthly $25, giving you the best information every single day. Try to be in there as much as possible. I don't think anybody in there would be like, Eric's never in there. I'm always freaking in there, but I really like the people. Anyway, join the Lindy and Friends Discord, and it's fun to bet for a living. That is for sure. So come do it with me. And then, hey, maybe you do bet for a living. Be like Lindy, join Tails today. Would love to have you guys kick it over in Tails. There's a link down in the video description box below where you can sign up. This is something that you want to do. If it's something you've aspired to do, well, you have the opportunity. You can put your money where, quite literally where your mouth is, and show the people what you're capable of doing. I do it every single day to the best of my ability. You can too over at Tails. Be like Lindy. Join Tails today. Alrighty, we got a 1 football game, 15 MLB games, 3 plays from that. Let's get to the plays. All right. As I said, it's late. Maybe I'll be a little bit more brief. I always say that, and then it's a 25-minute video, but I'm going to actively try to. We got Jake Irvin on the mound. That immediately just screams over, but you've already got a 10 total here, and I don't see crazy wind blowing out unless I'm just crazy. I mean, we've seen like 11.5 totals when you had that Seattle-Chicago Cubs ridiculous fest that we had there, but we got Javier Assad on the other side. I don't love Javier Assad, but he does enough to just kind of limit the hard contact. Sub 89 exit velocity off the bat. That's pretty darn good. 35.8% hard hit percentage, pretty good. 4.5% barrel percentage, really good. Just doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, but against Washington, less of a concern. Kind of staring at that under for what it's worth, like the 10. My data kind of likes it. It's kind of on the brink. I could be talked into it. But anyway, the Busch home run obviously is going to stand out against Jake Irvin, who can't get strikeouts. I'm also looking at his like under 2.5 strikeouts. This is real things that are happening. Whether it's a Colorado pitcher or Jake Irvin, these are guys who are fully stretched out and should be able to handle 80, 90 pitches, but can't get there because they're terrible. And they get like 2.5 strikeout props listed. What a time to be alive. Talked about Colson Montgomery. My God, I haven't seen a ball. First off, there's nobody in right field at the game. There's like 2 people up in the bleachers. Shout out those 2. They're real Minnesota fans. But Montgomery hit a absolute nuclear bomb late in that game. And it kind of like caught me by surprise how far it went, because it's pretty effortless. This kid is ridiculous. For a shortstop, it's like Corey Seager light. Better stroke, I think, than Corey Seager. I could probably describe it better than that. But Colson Montgomery, I liked him from day one watching him. And nice to see. I didn't see this coming for what it's worth. I don't think anybody did. But holy mother of God, is he fun. Jack Flaherty, yeah, he has problems against lefties. Big problems against lefties. Colson Montgomery, confirmed, left-handed. So probably going to strike out once and maybe hit a bomb. But the over 1.5 total bases, I think, is probably where the value will lie because it's like today, I just found it almost untouchable. Plus 360, plus 370 again. And that was like the highest we've seen him in a while because Taj Bradley was there. And now I don't know what to even do or say anymore. He's defying logic. Johanna Vito, the former St. Louis bullpen arm turned now starter here in Pittsburgh. Kind of an interesting spot that we've got going for you here. Milwaukee. Nobody bets against Milwaukee, nor should you, because God and religion and all those things, they are backing Milwaukee feverishly. But the evil Philadelphia Phillies found a way to get it done today against them. So shout them out for a 2-0. Ranger Suarez, not even like a gem. I felt like he just pitched well, like did Ranger Suarez things, just kind of plodded himself along. Not crazy amount of swing and miss. Freddie Peralta had some swing and miss. I think it was like 16 or 18 swing and misses as I was tracking that on Baseball Savant. Always like to have that on in the corner, even when I'm watching the games, just for like more context. I'm a sick person. Cincinnati taking on, well, by the way, the K ladder here, Milwaukee. It's pretty live here, I think. Vito, he's going to find strikeouts. He's just got to avoid barrels of bats. Cincinnati money line here. This one's David Peterson attacking. Like, I just want to attack David Peterson when I can. The over also looks somewhat appealing. I don't know what it is, but like Andrew Abbott, as good and freakishly awesome as what he is, I don't really know what to tell you. It's not like 3.51 expected ERA is so off of his 2.65 actual ERA, and he's a fly ball pitcher in Cincinnati. It always freaks me out when you get a lineup with like Pete Alonso and Juan Soto going berserk, even left on left, Juan Soto. Francisco Lindor, who, still is disappointing to me because, well, every time I bet him, I get nothing out of him. So that's cool. And Lindy Lindor. It'd be fun to have that going. Tyler Glass now. This is probably the one that I'm probably the weirdest ad, because as I'm working through everything, watching the football game, I landed on something where I'm like, man, we're starting to get really, really long numbers on Tyler Glass now. Somebody who like 7.5s and 8.5s existed. So I'm going to do like a normal distribution curve for him where it's kind of looking at what the tail is relative to his chances, because I feel like he's somebody that either has it completely going and he's going to rack up 9 or 10 against Baltimore, or he's going to get completely shelled and it's going to be like 2 or 3. And it almost feels like I want to get rewarded if he has those kind of ceiling games. That's the idea of a ladder in general, but I kind of want to avoid the 6.5, 7.5, if I'm being honest, because I just think if he gets 6 innings clean in this one, he's absolutely wiping out 9 or 10 Baltimore Orioles. So I specifically put the Oviedo ladder there because I think it's one that can progress for him. I think that he's got a good floor. Glasnow's floor is legitimately getting shelled lately because he gives up so many barrels, but his stuff still looks fine to me. And this Baltimore team with all these young bats, with the trade-offs that they've had, and no Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano and Cedric Mullins, although, he does strike out quite a bit. Just saying, I think this is a spot. Like Colin Cowser has a 34% K rate. Alex Jackson, 33.8% K rate. Got to make sure I specify that one. Kobe Mayo, who's been like 6-7 hole, even against righties, 29% K rate. I think there is a world where we go out and try to attack this one. Emmanuel Rivera is the only guy with a sub 21.5% K rate. So I know we spoke a lot about that one, but let me get the exact number here because I had it pulled up earlier. And it's just one that my data was kind of completely in love with, going to like the absolute, anybody know the Billy Joel song, Go to Extremes? It's a banger. Absolute banger. I'm stalling so I can get this. Here we go. His 10 plus is plus 450 at DK right now. 10.5 is 900. 12 is 1900. I know that sounds nuts. It's not even a ladder. I'm taking out like the bottom 2 most prevalent bet rungs of it. Oh yeah. This is why you listen to the lean section for what it's worth. Because again, I haven't bet anything here, but I am really seriously considering 2-3 things that are going to show up on the board here every single day. I talk through it all the time in the premium Discord. And obviously, if you ask me on X, hey, this looks good to me, I'll probably respond. At Eric Lindquist, that's where you follow me. Trent Grisham, Hansel. He's so hot right now. That's kind of what it is. I had his runs prop that was kind of popping for me. Ended up playing it in a pick'em card. He ends up obviously converting that one, but I didn't know what was going to potentially happen with the bullpens after Christian Javier, and I wasn't really if I had known that Houston was just basically going to get schmucked around there and that New York was going to have to carry that over almost by itself. Well, that's cool. Jesus Sanchez, pinch hit, home run. Cool stuff. You like him a lot. Kevin Gausman, though, up against Cam Schlittler. This is going to be primetime viewing. AL East. Whoo, it's going to be a fun race down to the wire. Vultures, John Mayer. Phillies taking on Miami. Hey, Christopher Sanchez, 4 kids, and I got to take all of that ass to showbiz. I know that's normally for Lopez, but it's fun to do for Sanchez. Give me plus money on 18.5 outs at open, please. Please? Guy had like 14 ground balls and 1 fly ball. Let me double check that fact so I don't sound like it. 14 ground balls and 1 fly ball last outing. I mean, just induce a soft contact, or he just jerks it down to the bottom right-hand corner of the strike zone and just gets that swing and miss about chasers. And I could probably use better descriptors than all of the words that I used there too. Under 7.5 here for Seattle versus the Braves. I don't know why this isn't popping for me with Logan Gilbert and Chris Sale on the mound. Like, you would think this would be a great opportunity to potentially back this one, but I think it's just like Atlanta. What do they really have to push Chris Sale? Like, he ended up going 78 pitches on the 30th. And normally it's good to go to bullpens, but like, the Atlanta bullpen is all out of sorts. That team is out of sorts outside of Michael Harris, Ronald Acuna, and Jurickson Profar, who have been the best outfield trio since the All-Star break. True freaking story. It's insane. Twins, Kansas City. I feel like the Twins, just with this bad bullpen, you're going to see late game ridiculousness. And we saw it again with the White Sox just putting up an absolute million at the end of that one. Michael Waka on the other side. Always like to attack him with lefties. Didn't know if you knew, Cody Clemens also hits bombs, but he keeps on forgetting that what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. But then there's also Matt Wallner. He does the same thing. He loses himself in the music the moment you want it. And the Houston Astros, Texas Rangers. We got Alvarez and Sanchez home runs. They did the same thing today. One of them started, that being Alvarez. One of them did not, that being Sanchez. And both are looking pretty damn good against Merrill Kelly to me, because Merrill, he doesn't look very good. Was that really where I went with that? There's also Merrill from The Walking Dead. I could do Pokemon, or I could do The Walking Dead. That's just how my brain works. It's not written anywhere. This is just who I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I am? The newspaper, radios don't even play my jams. That's the second Eminem. Giants taking on Cardinals under 8.5. Yeah, I'm keeping track in the back of my head too. This one sucks. McGreevy on one side, and then I had to double check who this was for San Francisco. I had a note for that. Should be the other Seymour, not the Ian Seymour version in Tampa, who is pretty darn good. They're also talking about starting Griffin Jacks maybe tomorrow, just as like a bullpen arm for like 1 inning. Get through and deal with like the main guys so that Ian Seymour can face those lefties at the top coming back through. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Carson Seymour, yeah, he's not very good. So I'm going to be staying away from this one for the time being. And then rounding it out, Manny Machado in Coors. We know Kyle Freeland's pitching. We don't have a San Diego starter. Who did I come up with? Because I did some digging on this one. Nick Pivetta could be the guy who ends up being put into the spot. Pitched on the 30th. It would match up to be his day, but San Diego has not released who they want to have be the starter. They're not listed on MLB or ESPN or any of the normal places. All right, normal places. Well, it's not this, but it's fantastic. Lindy and friends, join the Lindy Discord, friends, 50% off. Maybe one day I'll get a graphic that covers the entire thing, but you know what? This is only running until Monday Night Football. That's when it is cut off. Monday Night Football shows up. This ad goes away. So take advantage of that. Plus, I got one other thing that I'm going to be sharing with you here in short order, but we got Tails, of course. You want to be checking that out here for damn sure. Great opportunity to jump in, take advantage of all the goodness. And you might notice there's one more thing down in the video description box below. Yeah, we'll get to that one here in between the likes. That's what I'm looking forward to sharing with you. But we got some plays. We got an opportunity. Let's get to it. All righty. Let me get some water quick. Cleveland, plus 1.5 taking on Tampa. This will be a fun thing thrown in between the MLB and the NFL. So stay tuned. You're going to want to stay here. Yeah, I knew I was going to still go 25 minutes. What am I talking about? I need to give you the information, and that begins with home runs. Now, we've established that Sacramento and Tampa, both of these spots, are just places where you can go hit nukes. I mean, even at the end of the game, ninth inning, 4-0, Jose Ramirez and Kyle Manzardo, the two shortest odds guys on the Cleveland side, they go yah-yah. It's really fun to go yah-yah here. In fact, I enjoy this ballpark a lot more than I ever enjoyed Tropicana. Tropicana was a nightmare. It was a spot you basically just backed pitchers, stayed away from hitters all the livelong day, and it sucked. This is way more fun. In fact, I would argue, other than the ridiculousness of them like chasing down the fan and doing whatever about, the home run ball the other day. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. I think you absolutely need to keep this ballpark in the circulation. It's just way too good, friends. It's way too good. And that begins now with Brandon Lau, who I don't know how many times I can bet this guy, but Gavin Williams, he's on the mound. He's been pretty decent against lefties for what it's worth. He has the kind of strikeout stuff that can still, elevate beyond the norm, but 25.8% K rate against lefties, higher than against righties, but 191 expected ISO against lefties, 12.5-degree average launch angle. I just don't see any way around it. This is an absolute Brandon Lau spot. Yet again, plus 285 or better. The guy's the best power hitting second baseman in baseball. That is what it is. It is what it is. You probably knew it was Brandon Lau the entire time as soon as I said home run. So we'll just move on to A's and Angels to bring up a guy that I have to actually remember the name. Yeah, that's a real thing. Like, I have to remember. We have Jose Soriano. I definitely know about him. You know about him too. Extreme ground ball stuff. You're going to be surprised when you see some A's home run numbers in the morning. They're going to be higher than what you've seen in a while, mainly because they always are when it's Jose Soriano. Doesn't mean you can't entertain them. It's price and probability. What are the probability of them going yard if you think it's higher? Plus, you're going to get 4 innings, 3 innings in a worst case scenario of taking on this Angels bullpen that has some pieces. I mean, they've got some dudes who can throw some nastiness for what it's worth. But on the whole, if you're up in the game a little bit, you're probably sitting with a really nice ticket. If you've got Kurtz late, some of those righties in there, probably sitting with a pretty good ticket. You've got Rooker, O'Shea, Bangaliers, really good stuff overall. He bangs. No, we're not going to sing Ricky Martin. But we've definitely got this guy named Mason Barnett. Now, Mason Barnett, he had a 22.8% K rate at AAA Reno. No, not in Reno, but in Reno. Absolute moonball. 8,000 feet above sea level. You play in Albuquerque and you play in Las Vegas. And you play in all the absolute stone cold worst ballparks in the world. And now you get to take on an Angels team that strikes out at the highest clip in all of baseball against right-handed pitching. Yeah, that's a click at plus 105. Mason Barnett, he went 4 innings, 66 pitches. I think he's fully capable of going 90 and being just fine here in this spot. Again, he's been stretched out there at the AAA level. He's been hanging out there, having a cup of coffee. Plus, you got to take a look at what you got. Take a look. It's in our book. Reading Rainbow. Oh, I screwed up my notes. That's okay. One more thing in the MLB streets, and then a little telling you about something on the DFS side from Stokastic. Ooh, we might have an offer for you. Boston and Arizona here coming to you. This one is as straightforward as it gets. We've got Erod, who has always been one of those guys who outperformed some of his peripherals. Like his underlying metrics are just never all that. I mean, 259 expected batting average, 429 expected slugging, 21% K rate. None of this is good. He does limit hard contact to some extent, but some of these righties that'll be in there against him, Romy Gonzalez, 57.4% hard hit, even though it's like on a rope and just single. Jaron Duran, lefty, but Rob Refsnyder, another one of those righties, usually 4 or 5. Those guys are hanging out, having a cup of coffee. Alex Bregman, back in our lives here the last couple of weeks. You get back Peyton Toll, who is the number 28 prospect in all of baseball, number 2 in the Red Sox organization. His name, number 2. So we're going to be backing Peyton Toll here, somebody that just spins it as a southpaw. That debut, 2.06 expected ERA. The fastball velo, 96 and change out of the hand. There's just too much goodness here not to back Boston at minus 120 here against Arizona. I get it. Arizona has the bats that, for the most part, we've backed successfully this season, not lately, but Absolutely love the idea of Peyton Toll. And then the Boston bullpen, Aroldis Chapman. I mean, just keep all these guys on their heels. Great pitching ballpark for Peyton Toll. And Erod, he must pay for his sins. But you friends don't have to pay more than $1 if you want to check out Stokastic, the dollar NFL Core Weekly access. Just $1 for Thursday. That is finished here now. But Friday, for $1. Do you want to check out Showdown? Do you check out DFS from time to time? Well, Daily Fantasy Sports over on the Stokastic YouTube channel, we have the most amazing product. It is called the Sims. We have these Stokastic Sims. They're ready to rock, ready to roll for you, and can help you build some very positive EV lineups for that amazing Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers game that I'm about to discuss here in a second. But that's not all, folks. Something I'm going to be running over the weekend for NFL Lindy's into the Monday, it'll be all the way up until Monday. 30% off any monthly package that we have over at Stokastic.com. Got the link for you. You're going to want to check it out. Get 30% off of any NFL monthly package we've got down below there. And again, $1 using promo code Lindy1. This one, Lindy30, 30% off any NFL monthly package. Wanted to offer that over to you because, well, I know a lot of you are playing DFS, chatting up with me in the Lindy and Friends Discord as we discuss it. Come kick it with the best tools in the industry. Alrighty, it's football time. Hit that like button because it is infinity freaking o'clock, and I am ready to talk this one because I'm super excited. Kansas City, coming off of that smacking that they got handed to them from Philly in the Super Bowl last year, and Travis Kelce got engaged. Somebody, I can't remember who, taking on the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. I've always been a Justin Herbert stan. I'm very nervous about his blind side with Rashawn Slater, probably the best offensive tackle, left tackle in football. He got a massive contract and then, of course, just blows out his leg right before the season starts. That's a big question mark when you got so many guys on the Kansas City side that can develop pressure. You get so many opportunities here for the Kansas City Chiefs to blitz and take advantage of that absence. And yet I think the Chargers offensive line is going to hold up to some extent in this game. And I'm really, really hoping so because of one piece in particular. But just to at least just discuss the Kansas City side, we all know Rashee Rice, he was a bad, bad boy. He's suspended 6 games to start off the season. Do not roster him in your fantasy leagues this week. You will get 0 points or you will go straight to jail, collect no dollars. Zero. That's what you're going to get there. But I expect them. There's one play that I didn't put on the card here that I'm very interested in. I'm curious what everybody in the premium Discord thinks as well. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is being drafted appropriately in fantasy drafts, and that can apply, especially in a week 1 scenario like this. 12.5 rushing attempts was the number that I saw. Now, as somebody who just got hooked on 18.5 passing completions for Jalen Hurts, these are always markets that I'm scouring for, trying to find an edge for, comparing numbers. That's more of your top-down betting approach, comparing sports books. Bottom up, that's more of what I do over on this program because we have tools at OddsShopper that can help you with the top-down stuff. Bottom up is basically me originating and aggregating projections and taking a look at what everybody else that I believe to be sharp in this industry says. And, well, I think this is over projecting Isaiah Pacheco at 12.5 rushing attempts. I think you need to be looking at a hard under here. They did not trust him whatsoever coming down to the stretch in the playoffs. Maybe it's one of those things where they just needed to retool him or he wasn't right behind the scenes, and maybe we see him take on more of that workload. And I don't know, it's the regular season. They don't care as much about that. But Kareem Hunt really performed well for them in those playoffs. He's the better in pass pro, and I don't know if there could be somebody who's worse at catching a football at times than Isaiah Pacheco. Kenneth Walker at times, even though he can apparently. Joe Mixon at times in Cincy. It was weird. There's some real Stonehenge individuals that can exist in the old football landscape. But let's go back to the Charger side of things. They pick up Keenan Allen, so his second stint here with the Chargers. First one went pretty well with Justin Herbert, but new coaching staff, obviously, than what he had previously here. And Jim Harbaugh, he wants to run the football. At Michigan, whether it was, looking at what he did and how he treated J.J. McCarthy, which we'll talk about on Monday with my Minnesota Vikings, and then just basically relying on Blake Corum to take him to the promised land. Roman Wilson was a great wide receiver in college. What's going on with him in Pittsburgh? Nobody really knows. But we got ourselves a Marion Hampton, and you probably know him if you were doing your drafts. This North Carolina kid is special. He can really, really get it done. And you don't go out and get this kind of equity on a running back. You know, anybody in the top 3 rounds, top 4 rounds, you're drafting a running back, there's somebody that you probably believe in at the NFL level. This guy can catch footballs. He can do absolutely everything. I am very excited to back him in some capacity. And I will say this too. One-way markets freak me the F out. I think when I first started my betting journey, 9 years ago, one market I really liked was anytime touchdowns. I've become much more strict about who and how I utilize anytime touchdowns because they're one-way markets usually. The no's are not offered everywhere. Now at NoVig, ProfitX, those are things where you can take advantage of that. But be careful with these one-way markets, especially on pick'em sites where they're not giving you the fair value for most of those. Prize picks can go kick rocks, not even giving you a multiplier. But just saying, even at sports books, very rarely are you going to see that no come into play because it's going to be juiced to some extreme extent. And you're going to know that, hey, the books probably value it somewhere in this range. And we can talk about that in the premium Discord if you're interested. But this is what I'm interested in. Marion Hampton touchdown. He is at plus 155. I got this at plus 165. I think you can probably do yourself a solid and just know that anything better than plus 145 is probably in play, but I want to be pretty strict about how I go about one-way markets. Again, that's where you're usually looking at a majority of the plays being overs. That's what I do in the home run streets. You don't see me spraying the board with 8, 9, 10 home run plays very often, if ever. Like, basically never, especially now that FanDuel nuked their home run odds this season, where we haven't even been able to do a round robin once because they're so negative EV. But back to the football. Marion Hampton, he's going to be getting the backfield over Najee Harris. I expect him to carry a majority of the load because Najee Harris likes fireworks too much. And you have to be able to see to play football. I think he could see. So I'm happy for him. He wasn't very good in Pittsburgh. Marion Hampton's going to be really good. He's got juice. And he's got Justin Herbert as a quarterback. That's pretty good too. Patrick Mahomes. He's pretty good too. Going to be a fun football game, but right now, Hampton, the first play, pay attention to that Pacheco line. I think it's very, very interesting. All right, 50% off. We talked about that. Be like Lindy, we talked about that. And once again, 30% off for the Sims if you're looking for that for a monthly package. And you want to check it out here on Friday, getting down on Friday. Lindy 1 is the path, my friends. Lindy 1, the video description box below. That does it. Free Friday edition of MLB and NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Let me know your favorite plays down below for the MLB NFL. I'm always looking, always paying attention. Let me know if you tailed me on CeeDee Lamb. Excuse me. Let me know if you tailed me on that over of the Yankees in Houston. And obviously, I apologize that my plus 400 home run did not get there. But hopefully, you're utilizing good unit allocation, quarter unit on all of my home run plays, half unit on everything else. Their lock's going to be in the 1 unit capacity. And we might have something fun debuting over on X. At Eric Lindquist. Make sure you follow me tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. You're only technically it's already tomorrow on the East Coast. I'm going to upload this and get the heck up out of here. Until next time, friends. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB and NFL streets in Brazil tomorrow. Best of luck. See you back here next. Bye.